Hello and welcome to this video. Maybe one day I will figure out how to film without having a reflection in my glasses. It like bugs me every time, but I just can't find a way to do it and still have decent lighting in my videos. So we're gonna live with it. Anyway, into the video. This is gonna be a book haul. It's not like a ton of books, but I feel like it's a good amount. And I waited a really long time to buy books, and I actually read all the books that I had on my TBR. So I figured that was a good excuse to buy books. So let's get into it. The first books are ones that I bought on Amazon. First, I have The Girl from the Other Side, Volume 12. This is a really great graphic novel series. It's kind of hard to talk about this one in particular because it is like the last one in the series, so I can't really say much without spoiling it. But this one is kind of like short stories and kind of fills in like little gaps and little like cute things that happened in between these books or times that it just chose not to show in the other books. So it's really great if you've read the other series to kind of just like get some new perspectives on what was going on. The next book is Fugitive Telemetry. This is in the Murderbot Diary series. Again, kind of hard to talk about it because it is the latest book in the series and I believe books are still coming out. But basically we have this robot. He is like a security robot, but he is able to hack his governor module. And so instead of having to just like blindly obey orders, he's able to kind of think on his own. And so it's kind of this like strange, like he's not really human, but he kind of looks a little human and he can think on his own. So you get this kind of like artificial intelligence becoming human sort of aspect to it. And I've always really loved that, even though I haven't always been the biggest fan of like sci-fi. I did actually really enjoy the series. The humor is really nice. Next, I went to Half Price Books and picked up some books. So I always look in the like clearance or the sale section just out of curiosity. There's usually not much, but I did find Paper Towns for $1. I haven't read a lot of John Green, but it was $1 and I've heard of this book before, so I kind of blindly picked it up. I don't really know anything about it, but because I've heard the title and I've heard of the author and it was just $1, I felt like I had to pick it up. I also picked up Obsessed by Ted Dekker. Again, I don't know a lot about this book, but I read a lot of Ted Dekker. He does a lot of like thriller, and I like to pick up a thriller now and then. I'm not currently in the mood for it, but it's nice to have the option so that whenever I am in the mood for a thriller or something that's kind of like fast paced, it's there. I always really like his books. Like I don't think I've ever rated anything under like a 4-star. And like I said, I just like having the option for a thriller. If I'm getting in a book slump, I will often turn to familiar authors or books like thrillers and things like that because they move so quickly that it can kind of help me like get into the story a little bit better. I also found Slewfoot. Again, I don't know a lot about this. This is really a theme for this book haul, is me just picking up books I know nothing about. But the vibes look cool. And there's like art in it, I think. Yeah, so there's like some art and stuff in it. And so that always intrigues me. And I've also heard a couple people on BookTube talk about it and talk about picking it up. I don't know that I'm going to read this in the summer. It definitely feels more of like a fall thing to me. Like maybe I'll pick it up around October because it does kind of give me like kind of Halloween vibes. So we'll see. Okay, this is unusual for me. I don't usually go to Target to look for books, but I've been watching some booktubers that have been shopping at Target for books, and the books are always like 20% off. So I was like, you know what, maybe I'll stop by Target. And I specifically was looking for this book because I don't read romance, but I've seen several people that I follow that have similar tastes to me really like it. And so I thought maybe I'll pick it up because I was also feeling like it's summer and I need something kind of like light to read. And I feel like maybe this could be that. I don't know. Again, don't know a whole lot about this book. I do think it's about these friends and they have like the summer cabin that they share. And there are these two friends that have been dating, but they broke up, but they're pretending to still date while they're at this cabin with their friends because they don't want to like ruin their friends dynamic and stuff like that. So I'm curious to see how that could play out. It feels like a really good book to read in the summer, so hopefully I'll get to it in the next month or two. The next books I picked up are from Barnes & Noble. So the first is In the Lives of Puppets. Unfortunately, I have heard not so great things about this. I've heard a lot of people not loving it as much as the other ones. I really love TJ Klune's writing, just the whimsicalness of it and the humor. I just love it. He wrote The House in the Cerulean Sea and what was the other one? Under the something about whispering under a door, Under the Whispering Door. That doesn't sound right. Something like that. Anyway, I liked that second one better, which is ironic because I can't remember the title. But I'm currently loaning it to a friend. Otherwise, I would just look up there. Anyway, I got this because I love the writing. Also, the cover's cute. But unfortunately, I have heard some people not love it quite as much. Then we have Throne of Glass. My sister recommended that I read this after I read the ACOTAR series. And I kind of put it off for a little bit because I just wasn't feeling fantasy. I feel like I've read so much fantasy lately that I just kind of wanted something different. And also, I feel like it's a whole nother level of commitment to start a series than it is to just read a book that's just its own thing. I have actually read this already and I did really enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to starting the next book. I listened to it as an audiobook actually, even though I have the physical one. But the next audiobook, it looks like there's 9 people waiting for it in front of me, so I might just buy the other book and read it physically. Basically, you're following an assassin, and we have this king of this realm. He needs a king's champion, and so we have all of these I think it's just all the higher born people. So I think his son was the one who chose the main character, this assassin, to be in these games. I don't remember if they call them trials, but they basically do all these trials. So if you like games and things like that, this would probably be a good one for you. And they're all competing, and some people die in some of these challenges, and some people just get ruled out because they're really bad at them. And I'm not going to say how it ends, but she does pretty well. She's this famous assassin, and so she's having to go by a different name, and she's purposely not doing as well as she could actually, so that people don't suspect her. But it's really interesting, following her backstory and her relationship with some of the men. There is a little bit romance in here, but I wouldn't say it's a super heavy plot line. But it is a nice, it's a good chunk of the plot line, but not so overwhelming that it takes over the entire arc of the story, but enough that if you like some romance, it'll give you that good little chunk in there. I don't know if that even made sense. Anyway, I really liked it, and I am looking forward to reading the rest of the series. This next book was given to me by work. So occasionally they do this thing where they'll have speakers come and talk. And sometimes they're authors, and they'll just give us their books. So they'll have 100 to give away. And if you put in your address and you're one of the first so many people to respond, you'll get a book. So that's why I got this. I actually don't really know too much about it, but I see a free book and I feel like I need it. But I think it's basically about just dealing with disruption in your work life and how to design your work life and yada, yada, yada. Basically how to thrive and change and find happiness and freedom at work. So can I apply this to my work life? I guess we'll find out when I read it. Okay, we're on our final last 2 books. And these 2 books I actually got while I was in Scotland for my wedding/honeymoon. And I got them at a gift store. One of them's a book that I've been wanting for a while, and the other one I just thought was cute. So I got it. So this first book is The Stone of Destiny. This is also a movie, and I have already watched the movie. It is a true story about how Ian Hamilton, who is now, I think, I don't know what his position is, but he's in the government now, which is kind of funny. But if you're not aware of the story, the Stone of Destiny or the Stone of Scone, or I feel like there's other names for it too. Anyway, it's the stone that the Scottish kings would be crowned upon. And so when you're crowned upon the stone, it represents you being crowned King of Scotland or Queen. And this stone originally, during the time of this book, was in Westminster Abbey. And so it's a story of Ian Hamilton and some of his friends going, and they actually steal the stone and take it back to Scotland, and it follows like their crazy adventures and a bunch of things that go wrong. Like I said, I've watched the movie, but I'm really excited to read the book, and I think he himself wrote it. Yeah, he wrote it, so I'm interested to like see it from his perspective. It's just like a crazy story. It's really cool. And when I was in Scotland, I actually did get to see it in Edinburgh Castle, which is where it currently is. Okay, the last book is The Gardener's Companion to Medicinal Plants. There were a few little gardens that we saw while we were in Scotland that were called physic gardens. And basically it was just herbal gardens, like things that you could use to heal sickness or, you know, whatnot. So things like mint and chamomile, and like there's a bunch of things that I don't know. And this kind of goes over some of those plants and like some of their medicinal properties, and it gives you like a couple recipes for like how to make a certain type of tea or things like that. And so I just thought it was really cool. And it also gives you like illustrations. So here's like a page with like a recipe and illustration of the plant. And it's just like, I don't know, I just thought it was really cool. I like science, I like plants. I have my own garden and I've been growing some like herbs and stuff. So I thought maybe I could get some ideas for what to try to grow or things to do with some of the plants and herbs that I've grown that I don't really know what to do with. This could maybe give me some inspiration. So I thought it was a really cute book. Definitely something that I would like to display on my bookshelf because it's cute. This isn't one that I'm necessarily going to sit down and just read it all the way through because that would be kind of boring. It's more of one to like reference. But I think it'd be cool if I wanted to like draw some of these plants too. I could use this as kind of a way to like get ideas for that. If I'm doing paintings and need ideas of like plants to include in it. So yeah, that is the last of my haul. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if there are any books you've picked up recently that you think I should add to my TBR, because I've already read some of those books and those are all the books currently on my TBR. So I will like need to go shopping probably again in another couple months, and I will be picking up even more books. And so maybe I'll do like a book haul quarterly every like 3 or 4 months. I feel like that would be enough time to like accrue a good amount of books. Anyway, if you like book hauls, let me know down below. Give me a thumbs up and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!